Morning, Mark.
We'll start with the breaking news over the course of the last few moments. Steven Gerrard in advanced talks to become the new Rangers boss. Obviously an amazing opportunity for Steven. If I take you back to that first moment when you got the phone call, 2008, New Year's Eve, would you become the Bournemouth manager? You can identify with what's going through his mind.
Yeah, a lot of unknowns, really. I think when you take your first job, you have an idea of what the job entails, what it means, what you'll have to do, the various ways you're going to be stretched. But I think you never really know what's ahead of you until you take the step, and then you're into it. And I think very much, for me, I learnt on the job. I learnt doing it. And I think sometimes that's the best way. That's the only way that does actually make you adjust to the job, is actually to do it.
When you look at that situation up there for Steven Gerrard, an iconic footballer, achieved so much in the game, and Rangers, an iconic club, will there be an element of him thinking, is this the right move for me? Because you felt that same sort of thing, even though you had that relationship with Bournemouth.
I think once you make the decision, I don't think you'll have any doubts. Once you make the decision, right, yes, I'm going to do this, I think you just chuck yourself into the job. You commit everything inside of you to make that job a success. So I've got no doubts that if he does make the decision, then he'll have no doubts, and he'll just do the job to the best of his ability.
You understand what the Scottish leagues are like because you've signed players from there, so you know there's a lot of quality north of the border. Do you think he's going into an environment where he can make a difference and then obviously challenge Celtic?
Yeah, I mean, I know the Scottish game well. Not only have I signed players from there, my brother played in Scotland for a long time. I used to go and watch him play. So got a real interest in the league up there. And I think knowing people as well, several people who I'm quite close to who are either playing or managing at that level. It is a good league. It is a hugely passionate supporter base right through Scotland. So in the sense of the media exposure and what he's going to go into, he's well prepared for that, I think, with his career. But certainly there's going to be huge interest. And I think him going there just intensifies the league, and I think it makes it a much better spectacle.
On to more important news now then. You played in a charity game last week. How were you feeling Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday? Because you did 90 minutes.
To say that I needed to live in an ice bath would be an understatement, I think, after the game. It's only today, really, that I'm beginning to feel my legs have come back and are more normal. But I enjoyed it. I somehow managed to walk through 90 minutes. And it was a pleasure and an honour to stand alongside you on a football pitch, Mark.
And underlying the importance of the community spirit, and I don't think you'd see many Premier League managers that would go and play on a non-league pitch to support an ex-teammate and be a part of the community. Why is that so important for you?
For me, this was an easy decision to support John in memory of his wife Emma. I think that was, I don't take any, or don't need any praise for that. I think it was something that I had to do, I wanted to do, in respect of an ex-teammate, and he was going through a really difficult time, him and his family, and his son. I just wanted to be there to give support to them, and I was absolutely delighted to see the support from, the Bournemouth supporters. They never disappoint. To get as many as we did there on a cold Sunday watching me walk around is just incredible, along with a host of ex-players. It was a really nice way to get over the Southampton defeat, because that was bitterly disappointing, very painful, still is. But for that moment, it was a time just to think of other people in a difficult situation.
2 games to go, 6 points clear of the bottom 3 in the Premier League. If someone had said that to you at the start of the season, what would you have said?
I don't know what I would have said. I don't know. My aim was to improve on last year, to grow the team again, to hit new levels, new standards of performance. So I don't know how to answer your question. I think this last part of the season has been hugely frustrating for me, because I know we're capable of so much better. But it is what it is. We're in the position that we're in, and we need to make sure that we leave this season at home on a real high. And the expectation from me to the players, from everybody, is to create a great atmosphere and put on a real performance.
You talk about it being bitterly disappointing, just 1 win in your last 10 Premier League games. Nathan Aké said in the week that the players have been getting together, you've been having meetings and trying to identify why things just haven't been going to plan.
Yeah, I think I've said many times, I think in interviews, I think that it's very difficult at this level if you're a 1 or 2% off mentally where you need to be. And the feeling of being safe, everyone giving you that every day, not for me, because nothing will sway me from my mentality, is to be the best I can every day, to be the best we can every game, regardless of our league position. But for the players, it's very difficult, and I think we've just come off mentally, not technically, not tactically. We've just come off mentally where we need to be. And the biggest challenge now and the difficulty is to try and find that again. So I'm urging my players to forget everything that's happened and just go out and play at their absolute maximum levels. And I know if they do that, the crowd will back them. And I think it's very important, the last day of the season, that that we leave our supporters with a good feeling and a good performance to go into the summer with.
Looking ahead to that game, Swansea, a team fighting for their lives. How do you approach the match, and how much of that incentive is there for you and your team that win and you're safe? It's as simple as that.
Yeah, there can be no greater incentive than that. That's what we ultimately, coming into this season, first priority was to get Premier League safety, and we still haven't achieved that. So win and we're safe. It's in our hands. We know that we can control that. We're going to have a tough opponent. Carlos Carvajal's done an unbelievable job in turning Swansea round and giving them a chance to stay in the division, because when he took over it looked really difficult for them. So full credit to him and his squad for that. And we know they're going to be very dangerous opponents.
Talking about the Swansea boss, he's quite unique in his mentality and his humour. What have you made to his press conferences and his analogies?
I haven't actually watched them, so maybe I'm missing out. Maybe that's something that I should do. So I tend not to focus on other managers' press conferences. You know, I've got a team to prepare and a team to try and get to perform well. So I devote my time to that. But I might flick one or two on now after hearing your question.
Definitely. Who are the biggest threats for Swansea? Who do you feel could cause you the most problems? Who do you have to be conscious of?
I think they've got a really good team shape, team work ethic. I think you can see they're very committed, they're very spirited. And I think that's credit to the manager for enhancing that in his time at the club. They do have dangerous individuals, there's no doubt about that. We know where their threats will lie. But for me, this game is about us and our performance. I think that's absolutely crucial, as I alluded to earlier. Making sure that we have no regrets after this game.
What's the Bournemouth team news ahead of the game?
Harry Arter is still out with his Achilles. Junior Stanislas obviously out, and Adam Smith won't make it.
Andrew Sermon's fine.
Yep.
Tyrone Mings is obviously making good progress. Do you think we could see him between now and the end of the season?
Well, he's on the bench. You know, he was on the bench in the last game. He's fit and available and training well, so I'm pleased with him.
And when you look across to these last couple of games of the season, is there an element of you that wants to, where possible, give some of the younger players a taste of Premier League football because they could be a part of the club's future?
It's not a time for that, Mark. It's a time for us to concentrate on trying to win this game and knowing the importance of the match. So looking ahead to next season and giving opportunities to players, that is something not on my mind at all.